There are a lot of poor PTs out there and they don't even realize it. And I know this because not too long ago, I was a poor PT too, and I knew it was possible to be a rich PT. I just felt constrained by high student loans and then the limited salary potential in the clinic. But until you know what a rich PT looks like and define it for yourself, and then figure out how to become a rich PT, you'll end up staying on this endless spinning wheel of being a poor PT, and you may not even realize it. And today we're going to define what a rich PT looks like, at least for me, how to get there. And it doesn't mean that you start selling courses on courses and trading hours for different work as a home health PT or skilled nursing facility. Actually, I'd like to share a story about myself and how the transition from a poor PT to a rich PT happened faster than I expected when I realized these 3 truths. And if we haven't met before, I'm Tim, and on this channel we love talking about personal finance and tips to improve your financial health, especially if you're a physical therapist. But if you're not a PT, you're welcome to stick around and learn a few things. I hope you stay a while and subscribe. We've got new videos each week. But back to this story, cue the dream sequence. In fact, this story starts all the way back to when I started to apply for PT schools. And that marked the day that I started on my path to become a poor PT. You see, this soon-to-be PT wasn't aware that he was laying the foundation to become a poor PT as soon as he started to apply for schools that would require him to take out more than one time his future salary. The rich PT inside of him knew that it was smart to apply to state physical therapy schools, but the poor PT inside of him said, you should really consider some of these expensive private schools just to increase your odds so that you make sure that you get in the first year. But all that logic went by the wayside as he was as excited as ever to get the acceptance from a top-ranked program that would end up costing him over $130,000 in new student loans, nearly twice his projected salary as a physical therapist. And so the first lesson he learned in how to become a rich PT was that poor PTs ignore the debt and they just try to justify increased cost, while rich PTs know that keeping your debt-to-income ratio as low as possible will allow you to leverage debt in your favor, especially when it comes to building revenue-generating assets in the future. You see, it's not that debt is a bad thing in and of itself. We leverage debt all the time. We buy our homes with debt. We buy properties with debt so that we can generate income to pay off that asset. But too much consumer debt in student loans, that can keep us in this endless cycle of payments that take up a huge portion of our cash flow each month, and we have no room for investments. And unfortunately, it's easy to get caught up on this path of becoming a poor PT by thinking that our student loans will just take care of themselves with forgiveness, or that we'll just deal with it later. But with a little planning, we could easily project the cash flow that you'll earn from your first job. The rich PT plans ahead. They use a statement of cash flows. And if you're not sure what that is, you can take a look at the video up there where we explain what statements of cash flows are. And they know what money coming in and going out, they know what the whole picture looks like. But the poor PT, they try to dig themselves out of this consumer debt and student loans. The rich PT is leveraging debt in ways to build assets and to generate revenue outside of their work in the clinic. And that leads to the second lesson that this poor PT learned that was so critical for that transition from becoming a poor PT into a rich PT, and that is to diversify your income. And look, you might be surprised to learn that a physical therapist with relatively small student loans or none at all, they may still be considered a poor PT if they're relying on one source of income. The poor PT in this story actually began his career alongside of another PT who had no student loans at all. And while someone might look at this colleague as a rich PT, both of them were on the path to living as a poor PT unless they changed their mindset about how they earned an income. You see, both of these PTs worked in a clinic earning above average starting salaries, but what they failed to realize is this one thing. Relying on one source of income meant that they would never build wealth faster than they could trade their time for a dollar earned in that clinic. And the poor PT in the story started to realize that in order to pay down this massive debt and to stop living paycheck to paycheck like other poor PTs, he would have to start using his skills, learning new skills, and to generate income outside of the clinic. And so he started on this path to becoming a rich PT. And for him, it meant that he had financial freedom, time freedom, and career freedom to work on things that he enjoyed to do without tying a dollar amount to an hour worked in the clinic. So he started putting in time before and after the clinic, working on his ideas, writing articles, resources, guides, creating websites, blogs, recording videos, putting the work in to build assets that would generate income and produce income for years to come. He knew the work could pay off, even if it meant putting in long hours, spending his lunch hour working on his business. And he learned that working on your own business was about 10 times more fulfilling than working in someone else's business. It's not easier, but it's absolutely necessary to diversify your income and to become a rich PT. And within a few months, he started to earn income from multiple sources, and then he learned even more ways to produce income outside of the clinic. He started writing blog posts consistently, recording helpful videos, developing resources to help people, trading his knowledge for dollars instead of trading his time for dollars. And within 2 years of his journey to becoming a rich PT, he realized his goal as his business that started as a side hustle soon became multiple streams of income that completely replaced his income as a physical therapist and helped him achieve that goal of being a rich PT, which for him was time freedom, financial freedom, and career freedom. He finally had a positive net worth at this point, and while there's no specific amount of income that defines a rich PT or a poor PT, the second lesson of diversifying your income is such an important aspect of being a rich PT. Especially as so many PTs have experienced such job uncertainty and volatility in the wake of all that's happening in 2020. Diversifying your income is so important. And the third lesson on the path to becoming a rich PT has to do with education. And I'm not talking about continuing education, I'm talking about financial education. So many poor PTs are quick to say, I'm just not good with money, or they didn't teach about business in PT school. But the rich PT is quick to learn about personal finance basics like building a balance sheet, tracking your net worth, building a cash flow statement, understanding the importance of building your own business instead of just working in someone else's business. And the beauty of becoming a rich PT isn't that you need to stop working as a PT in someone else's clinic or at a hospital or a home health agency. There are plenty of PTs who continue to work in therapy clinics, but now they use their time to build their own businesses, to achieve their own financial and time freedom so that they can create assets that generate revenue regardless of whether or not they clocked in that day. The key is this: rich PTs work to learn more and to broaden their skills, especially when it comes to financial and business topics. The rich PT learns how to start an LLC and to ultimately pay less taxes than their fellow poor PT colleagues. They use pre-tax dollars to fund new ideas and new projects and find legal ways to write off more expenses than their poor PT friends ever could. And they broaden their skills and their financial literacy, and they learn how to create income-producing assets and resources that eventually generate revenue that's not tied to their time. Look, when I started my journey as a physical therapist, I didn't realize I was setting myself up to be a poor PT right out of school. And while most PTs don't get into this job for the money, the truth is that every PT that I've interacted with receives a paycheck, so finances matter to a degree, right? And as soon as I realized that I needed to find more ways to use my knowledge as a PT to solve people's problems outside of the clinic, so I didn't have to rely on trading my time for a paycheck, I started on that path to becoming a rich PT. And you might be in a similar situation where you're tired of relying on one job source to trade hours for dollars as well. And if you're like me and you're tired of living like a poor PT, like I was, and you realize that you can do more and you can reach more, I would encourage you to learn more about business principles and financial basics that we go over in this channel. Improve your financial literacy. And I hope you stick around and subscribe to the channel, because a lot of these videos we'll be talking about in the future will do just that. And I'll link to some of these resources in the description that I used to help propel my business and to turn my situation from poor PT to rich PT. And if you enjoyed this story, you can read an even more inspiring story in a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's by Robert Kiyosaki. It's one of the top books on my shelf, and of course the inspiration behind the title of this video, and you can find it in the description below as well. But I just want to say thanks for watching. It means a lot to me, and I know that you are capable of being a rich PT as well. And just know that I'll be here along your journey as well to becoming a rich PT. Hey, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.